What's up, YouTube? Coming back with another video. You know, I did a video a few years ago asking, was the Caucasian man the biggest simp? I asked that question. Is the Caucasian man the same man that established America? The same man that sailed his dumb ass on a boat and came to this new world and established America? You mean to tell me a simp like him established something that's supposed to be so great? Check this shit out.
Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Tant versus Wynn.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Miss Tant, you are disgusted that you had to drag your ex-husband to court to prove he fathered your son, Daniel. You are here to put an end to this question that has torn your family apart for more than 2 decades. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Wynn, you say that after your wife's reckless affair and lies, she became pregnant and tried to pass Daniel off as your son.
Yes, Your Honor.
She ain't tried to do shit. She did pass this child off as his. Evil, manipulative, conniving Caucasian bitch that he was dealing with.
Are here today to prove once and for all that you are not the father. You say that you're tired of your ex-wife's lies?
Yes, ma'am.
Explain.
Well, Your Honor, I met this woman and thought, life was going to be great. Marriage one time, kids, same woman. And now I don't feel that was, fulfilled.
When did you meet?
We met between the ages of 17 and 18 at a public pool and continued on to eventually move in together, have children, get married, and proceed on with our life.
So, Miss Tant, were you excited about this new relationship when you met him as well?
I was excited, and it's like he said, we was young. We had our oldest daughter.
So it sounds like you are a young couple. You meet, you get married, start trying to build a life together.
Yes, ma'am.
What goes wrong?
Well, Your Honor, I met this gentleman that I went to school with and decided to introduce him to my wife as a friend of mine. And next thing I know, he's coming over, messing with her hair, supposedly a hairdresser, giving her all the comforts that I should be giving her. And I didn't feel that was right.
So now you say you didn't feel like that was right, but you sat your ass right there and watched that man do all of that. You didn't do anything to confront it or to stop it. You allowed that to happen when you introduced your friend to your wife. That was the choice that you made.
Spoke with him and asked him to back off, and also spoke with my wife at the time and told her, this does not need to continue.
What was the first sign where you said, this is inappropriate?
Just the touching, the feeling on my wife. That's my wife, not his, and he needed to back off.
Well, he needs to back off. As you said, that's your wife. The ugly bitch got your last name. You married her. And then you allowed this other man to have his hands all over your wife. And not only that, you allowed this man to come visit your wife while you was at work. You invited and allowed that man to come into your house.
And so when you told him that, what happened?
He seemed to understand what I was saying, but continued it. Continued to come over when I wasn't home. Made, special points to make sure when I was gone that he would come over.
And so then you found out they were sleeping together.
Yes, Your Honor. I'd been told that she wasn't in our apartment that we was living in. We lived in the same complex as this guy. One day when I'd come home, she wasn't home. My daughter was in her playpen by herself in our apartment. And I went and knocked on the door of this gentleman, and he opens the door in a pair of boxers and tells me, your wife ain't here. And Your Honor, I looked straight into the apartment when he opened the door, and there laid her red lace panties that I bought and paid for.
So she wore the red panties that you bought and paid for this man. So, I mean, how can you stand there in court in front of the judge and the cameras and the audience that's inside the court building? How can you stand there and tell this story honestly? It not feel like a man whatsoever. He was pretty brave to tell his story. Pretty damn brave to tell his story, and he told it honestly.
Oh, in his house?
In his apartment, right at his foot of his bed. Your Honor, I was devastated. I was just ready to end it all.
Miss Tant, were you in the apartment with your husband's friend?
No, I wasn't.
Were
Yeah, bitch lying. Took too long to answer. No, you already lied. Yeah, you know you was over there. Over there giving that man fellatio.
those your red panties on the floor?
No.
We had went camping one weekend. Supposed to be a family outing, me and her, and he wanted to follow along behind. He had a motorcycle. I knew she loved motorcycles. She wanted to go bike riding. So we get to our campsite, we camp. He ends up in our tent that night instead of his tent. And Your Honor, as we sleep in the tent, there's
Excuse me,
her,
we only have
there's
one
her,
tent.
there's him, and there's me in the middle to divide them. Because this is my wife.
See, stupid. I don't know if this shit really. I don't know if this shit staged, or is it fake, or it's all a show, or this man just actually stupid. Well, maybe he just stupid. Why would you allow a man to follow you to a campsite? Allow this man to follow you and your wife, and camp out with y'all, and sleep in the same tent. Yeah, you have doubts. This man came into your home after you invited him over to your house to meet his wife. Seeing this man touch your wife, rope on your wife. Now you want to take him camping? Not only just that, but in the same tent. All three of y'all in the same tent. Come on now, make this make sense.
I want to sleep next to my wife, not another man.
We only have
So,
one
Your Honor,
tent.
I wake up the next morning, and what happens? I'm against the side, and she's in the middle between us.
You got up and moved in the middle?
Your Honor, she was with that man that night. She had to have been.
You already know she was with her, you idiot. Because you allow it to happen. You allow it to happen. The three of you in the tent, you sleep, and she sucking this man's dick while you sleep. That's your wife, man. Maybe it's something you ain't telling, man. You know what I'm saying? The story is not adding up. You can't be that stupid.
So, Mr. Wynn, did you have any other reason to believe that your wife and your friend were sleeping together?
Yes, Your Honor, I've been told numerous times that she was with this guy, and she had been seen going in his room, shutting the door, and coming back hours later out of his room. So I come home early, and same thing. Found that she was not in our apartment. Went over to his apartment and knocked on the door.
He said he went over to his apartment, so he already knew his wife was over there fucking this dude. So you already knew what was going on. But you calmly walking your ass over there to see if she over there.
Door, didn't get an answer. Made a statement that, I was going to kick the door in if they didn't open the door, because I knew she was in that apartment. And when she did open the door, she was dressed in nothing but a sheet wrapped around her. No clothing.
You opened the door in a sheet?
Yes, I did. That was also the day that I left him.
She left me and my child, a family, for another man.
And it was due to the arguing and the fussing and...
See, now she's trying to clean it up. The date that she was actually caught with the sheet wrapped around her, now she want to confess that she slept with him that night. Only that night. This is what she's going to tell the judge. And you know it's all bullshit. You at this man's house prior to that. Not only that, y'all went on a camping trip together, and 3 of y'all slept in the tent, and this man woke up with you laying in the middle between you and this man. So you were doing something with this man all the time, and you denied it up until he actually caught you in this man's apartment.
I couldn't put up with it no more.
So,
You're gonna accuse me of doing something, I'm not gonna tolerate it.
but wait,
Shit, bitch, you was already doing it. How is he accusing you of something when you're guilty of it? That man knew you was doing that shit. He knew you was doing it, but he didn't have the concrete proof that he was looking for. So when you got caught, you had no choice but to confess it then, and try to say it was his fault that he led you into being with that man when you was with him for a while.
was accusing you of something you did because you were in the sheet, right?
That night, yeah.
So did you sleep with the other men that night?
Yes, I did.
But you said you weren't sleeping with them the night when the red panties were on the floor.
No, I wasn't before that night.
All bullshit. And the judge knows she lying. The judge just caught her in some shit, you know? Bitch lying. Fucking this dude the whole time. The whole fucking time.
So, Miss Tant, how soon after this night with the sheet did you find out you were pregnant?
6 weeks. I was 3 weeks pregnant when I found out 6 weeks later.
So, Mr. Wynn, when did you find out about the pregnancy?
Not till after the boy was 2 years old, she contacts me and tells me, we have a son. So, you know, I'm joyful.
Yeah, that's because she wants your ass back now. Other dude, either he's deceased. She said that he's deceased, but he could have just left her ass, got tired of her and left. Now she calling on this nigga. Now she calling on your simple ass to come back into her life.
I have a son. I want to raise my son. I'm going to try to get back together and make a family out of it. I'm presently living in Florida, so I moved back to Texas, moved back in with her.
Daniel, I want to ask you,
Yes, Your Honor.
as you listen to this testimony, I know this is probably a little difficult to hear.
I've heard it since I was 3 years old, and I've heard it over and over and over
And
again.
that's exactly what I wanted to ask you. When did you become aware of all of this?
Since I was, from the earliest memory, every argument they've ever had always turns into this right here.
And so it would be, really, I want to understand this. Explain to the court. It would just start off as an average.
It would just start out as an average, you know, you didn't do this or you didn't do
Right.
that, and then it would just blow up very, very fast and very, very quickly, and then it just turned into, well, is he mine? Is he not mine? Is it? And it.
Man, you already knew that boy wasn't yours. You already knew. You knew your wife was fucking that dude. You knew that. You knew that boy wasn't yours. You just wanted to come back anyway because you still have feelings for that woman. You still love that woman. That's why you went back, knowing that that child wasn't yours. You couldn't let it go, so that relationship became toxic when you should have just stayed away. When you knew that baby wasn't yours.
Just would keep going and going from there.
And so in your life, you've known that there was a question as to your paternity.
Yes, ma'am.
And did you approach your mom, or did you say anything? Like, are you ever going to figure this out? What is
I've
the
asked
answer?
a couple of times, and the couple of times that I've asked, I usually didn't get an answer. I've ran across photos before, and my mother's actually said, she took the photos from me and said no.
Which photos did you run across?
I've ran across photos of the other man.
And Your Honor, I've been asking for years.
And where is
since
that
this
man
boy was
now?
little, you know, for a DNA.
He's deceased.
Prove that
He's
my
deceased?
Yeah. 9 times out of 10, if he came across some old photos of his daddy, the man that's supposed to be his daddy, maybe his mom might have been honest with the boy and told him, that is your daddy. That's your daddy, he won't shit. Gave him the whole rundown. I mean, there's a reason why he's standing there so cool, calm, and collect. You know, too cool, too calm, too collect. I think he already knew what was going on.
Yes.
Mr. Wynn, you say you went back to put your family together. You
Yes,
went
Your
back.
Honor.
You came from Florida to San
I
Antonio?
contacted him in Florida.
And were you still technically married at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
Under the law, you still legally married?
Yes, ma'am.
So your wife came back with Mr. Whittle, the boy she claimed at that time was your biological child.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you raise him as your son?
Yes, ma'am. I did raise him as my son. I took him under my wing. I made sure he had what he needed as he was growing up in life.
And that upsets you. You feel robbed of
Raising my child, my family to carry on. My name stops with me. Which, Your
And
Honor,
is that why
look
you
back-
brought this exhibit today?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to hear from you. Please step over to your exhibit and explain what you've brought to court.
As you'll notice, Your Honor, this says Aline Denise Wynn, her birth certificate, my daughter. It says father's name, Alan Ray Wynn.
You chose to give her his last name.
Yes.
Okay, and if y'all notice right here on this one, it says Daniel Joshua Whittle. Whittle's
Right.
not my last name, it's her last name. So I've been ripped from my name carrying on, the love to show in my family that this is my son stops with me. It doesn't carry on. If you'll notice on father's birthplace, it has nothing. Father's name, it has nothing.
And you're saying, if you're telling me this is my child, why didn't you put me on the birth
Exactly.
certificate?
Why was my name not on
Were
the
you
birth
married
certificate?
during this time?
During this one, yes, ma'am, I was.
So if you all were legally married at that time, why wouldn't your name be on the
I
birth
had it
certificate as
changed.
father?
I had it changed.
Because she already knew he wanted the father of that child. She knew that. She knew that. The son knew that. And the husband knew it too. All three of them knew this shit. But they wasted time coming to court and putting all this bullshit out in public.
You
This
had the
should
birth
be-
certificate changed?
He was born and his name in the hospital was listed as baby boy Wynn.
And Your
I
Honor, if you look
changed
at the information I sent you that shows through the state that if you're married, your child is supposed to carry your last
Well,
name.
actually, the court does have that information, and I wanted to find out. We know that paternity issues are handled differently on a state-to-state level.
they are.
But in your state of Texas,
And what good if the boy having your last name if he ain't carrying your bloodline? Pointless. It's just stupid.
it says that according to the family code of the state of Texas regarding the record of paternity, if the birth parents are married at the time of a child's birth, the husband is assumed to be the father of the child and should be listed on the birth certificate as the father unless otherwise prohibited.
I chose otherwise because I was not going to have another child taken away from me.
Your Honor, the law.
Well,
the law
what-
Have another child taken away from you. That man never took that child from you. Bitch, you left. You left home with your side piece. You left home with your side piece. Probably told your husband you weren't never coming back. So you left your child. That man didn't take no child from you. Stop lying, bitch.
What
regardless
that
of how
means,
we
though,
feel.
Ms. Tan, is that unless otherwise prohibited, not by the mother, but otherwise prohibited by the law, you basically manipulated this so that Mr. Wynn could not up and take the child like he took your daughter after he found out you were cheating. Is that what you're...
Hell no. Hell no. That man didn't take that daughter from her. She left the daughter. The reason why she didn't want to give that boy her last name because she knew he wanted the father of that child. That was the reason why.
Fear was...
That's not what he done.
He didn't take your daughter then?
No,
Your
I
Honor,
left my daughter with
Your Honor,
him.
she chose another man rather than to be with me and her daughter.
So why is it that you wouldn't give your son his father's last name if you voluntarily left your daughter?
Because if I had another child, it was going to have my name to where it could stay with me.
So is this the only man you've known to be your father, but you know of the paternity questions because of the arguments?
Yes, Your Honor. That's the only man that I've ever called Dad.
But Your Honor, I need answers today.
And probably the only man that you call dad. But you already know that ain't your dad. You know that because your mama told you that.
Well, Miss Tant, do you have doubt or not?
There is that chance, yes.
Okay. So there
Because
is.
I did sleep with the man one time.
So when you called Mr.
Yeah, she hold on to that lie. She said she slept with the man one time. Slept with the man one time. So you mean to tell me you packed up your shit, left your husband and your daughter, and moved with this man, and you only fucked him one time? One time. And that was the time that he kept accusing you and frustrating you to the point that you fucked this dude just one time.
When your husband back to say we have a son, you have a son, did you say you might have a son, or do you say?
No, I told him he had a son.
Did you ever tell the other man, Miss Tant, that you might have a son?
No.
Your Honor, she lived with this man after she had the child.
Were you intimate with this other man more than once, or
One time.
You're saying just one time?
Which was the night I left. And that's because he threatened to, the only reason I opened the door is because he threatened to run his truck through the door. And I heard him start the truck. Because I knew he'd do it.
Your Honor, I've always tried to be a man of my word, you know?
That's your downfall, basically. Trying to be a man of your word. I'm not telling people not try to be a man of your word because you're supposed to be. But sometimes the shit gets you in trouble. Sometimes it backfire on you. And that's why he probably ran back to that bitch, knowing that she wasn't faithful to him and maybe even been pregnant by this guy. But by him trying to be a man of his word and keep his vows, he went back to his wife, knowing what she did. Trying to be a man of his word, but he should have stayed away. Because you're setting yourself up for heartache and misery. And that's exactly what happened.
I want to know answers. Open the door. I'm going to come in for myself and find out whether or not you're in that room. I've been told you're in there.
Well, I am thankful.
Well, you already knew. You knew she was in there. It's like you knew that man was fucking your wife. But you just had to see for yourself.
You did not have to commit a crime. So, Daniel, your mother has admitted that she has doubt. Has she ever explained to you that there was doubt, or did she always tell you that for certain this was your biological father?
She's never said that she had any doubts. He's the one that's always said he has doubts.
But now as you stand here today and you hear your mother say that there is a doubt.
Don't know how to feel about that, Your Honor.
Pretty sure you don't. You already know your mama a whore. You already know this. You already knew what happened. She told you what happened. So you accepted it that your mama a whore. That's why you're not mad at her. And basically on her side. On her side. She probably fucked her too. You know how y'all Caucasians get down. I mean, probably hit that thing too.
I really don't.
Your Honor, there's a lot of things I would like to do with my son. But I've always had that doubt there.
And so if he is your biological son, would you like your name added to the birth certificate?
Yes, ma'am, I would. I'd like him to carry my name.
And you'd like him to
for my
change
grandkids to be able to know that my name's going to be carried on.
And I see how much that troubles you.
Yes.
I see the tear. Daniel, are you open to that?
I am open to it.
You all have endured 24 years of paternity questions and doubt.
I'm ready to sit down and be told for sure whether or not he's my child.
So these results, they mean a lot today. There has been a lot that has transpired over these past almost 3 decades of this. This is real life. I cannot imagine what you have thought as kids. Daniel, you sang from 3 years old, every argument. You didn't wash the dishes. You didn't put gas in the car. Next thing you know, it's about me. Am I somebody's child? Yeah, that's exactly what happens with paternity secrets. Is because they are lurking. They are literally woven in the fabric of the family, so that any question, any argument, anything leads straight to that.
Because, Your Honor, I want answers. That's why. I want answers.
He hollering about he want answers when you already know the answers, man. You doubt. You know, you doubting your own intuition. You doubting your own intelligence. You see for yourself what's going on, but you want to hope and hold on to it because you brought yourself back, hoping that you can put your family back together. And they played on that. They played you. But you're a hell of a man, though, because some men wouldn't do what you did. I know I wouldn't have. And I'm being honest, people.
Well,
What do
we
you
have
To bring
those
my family, the whole
answers.
family back together.
We have those answers for you. Jerome, let's get them these results. Thank you. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Tant,
If your moderate to severe ulcerative colitis or Crohn's symptoms are holding you back, and your current
versus When it comes to 26-year-old Daniel Whittle, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Wynn, you are not the father.
He feel like a damn fool. Look at the son showing no emotion, but he don't give a fuck.
I'm so sorry, Daniel and Mr. Wynn.
Still love him regard.
I'm pretty sure you're feeling kind of sorry for the old guy. You know what I mean? You know, I feel sorry for him because they played him. And he know that his mom played that man. He already know. So he probably feel kind of sorry for him. The man did raise him.
Listen, I'll continue to love him, even though he's not mine. He's mine in my heart, and I'll always be there for him. Love you.
Daniel.
And look at this Caucasian bitch here. Just look evil looking. Head cocked to the side like she don't give a fuck either. You know, I don't care what they say. The Caucasian woman is the biggest whore on earth. The biggest whore on earth.
Are you all right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you tell the court what you're feeling in this moment?
I'm not even sure. I'm really not.
All right.
Not even sure. You ain't got no words? You're not sure what to think? Because you already knew what the outcome was. You already knew that man wants your daddy. Because your mama told you.
Well, family, we have been dealt a blow today, and I was so hoping to be able, Daniel, to give you this answer and tell you that Mr. Wynn is your biological father. But life really doesn't operate like this all the time. Everything wrapped up in a pretty box.
Yeah, that's American life for you. American standards, American views is not something that's wrapped in a pretty box. America is all fucked up, man. America is all fucked up, you know. But yeah, this man was a simp. A Caucasian man. Biggest fucking simp. Got played all this time by your woman when you knew the truth. You knew the truth, seen the truth, but yet you wanted to be a man of your word and hold your vows and try to bring this bullshit of a family and hold it together. And you ended up raising a child that wasn't yours. You let your friend have sex with your wife, come into your home, have sex with your wife, impregnate her. Not only did he impregnate her, but had you raise his son. You got played all the way around. Now you're sitting in court with your head hanging and crying. You were the only one crying out of the three. Sucker shit, people.